Hi, I'm Tracey Cerisano, Sales Representative with Remax Garden City, and welcome to this segment of Ask the Pros. Today joining me is the fabulous Margot Weinhofen. She has been a mortgage broker for 20 years and she works out of Grimsby. Not only has she helped me, but she has helped some of my clients, and she truly is fabulous. Today we thought we would discuss an interesting experience that I had just a few months ago. I had a client who was interested in a condo unit that was for sale in an older condo building in Hamilton. And so what I normally do is I call up to make the appointment, and in discussing with the listing realtor, she informed me that all buyers who was interested in purchasing a unit in this building needed to have at least 20% down payment, or they would not be approved for mortgage. I thought that was odd, and that caused a red flag. So I continued to ask her, is the building poorly managed? Is there an issue with the status certificate? So my question is, what is the significance with 20% down as opposed to a lesser amount?
That's a good question. From the listing agent's comments, I am guessing that she has experienced this before with other purchasers who have tried to purchase in this condo with less than 20% down, and the mortgage application was declined by the insurer. This type of application, less than 20% down payment, is referred to as a high ratio mortgage insurance application, and it had been declined. If the mortgage default insurance provider declines the application, they have the final say. So the bank that gave the initial approval has little recourse.
So then you must have had an experience with this before, and why would CMHC deny a mortgage application?
CMHC would decline a mortgage application for several reasons, and it's usually defects with the building or with the condo status certificate.
So then let's look at another scenario. Let's say a buyer is able to come up with a 20% down payment. Is it still possible for that buyer's lender, mortgage broker, to deny the application?
Yes, definitely. When a mortgage approval is issued by a bank, that approval contains certain conditions that the purchaser must fulfill prior to the closing date. One of those conditions of the mortgage approval will that be the purchaser's solicitor review the status certificate for the lender and provide a report to the lender on the quality of that status certificate.
Really?
If the solicitor's report is negative in any way, then the bank will cancel the application and back out of the deal.
So have you had experience with that?
Yes, just recently. I had young first-time home buyers, very naive. They had saved 20% down, and they were trying to purchase an older condominium townhome in Lincoln. The condo development consisted of 26 townhomes, and the property was about 40 years old. Okay. The listing agent happened to also be representing my purchasers, mutual representation, and he drafted the offer for them, and he included one condition, and that was the financing condition.
So no status?
There was no condition in that offer about the offer being conditional upon the lawyer's review of the status certificate. So this immediately caused concern for me, because normally when it's a condo purchase, there is always a review of a status certificate as one of the conditions in addition to financing. So we got the approval from the bank with no issue, but as I expected, the bank wanted to see the status certificate. I reviewed the status certificate, the lawyer reviewed the status certificate, and we both quickly found that there were major deficiencies in the condo reserve fund as well as in the daily operating fund. This condo project was operating at a loss, and the monthly condo fees were not even sufficient to cover the monthly expenses. So thankfully, because we had a financing condition in that offer, my clients were able to back out of the deal and their deposit was returned to them.
That's lucky for them.
Very.
That brings up a good point, that it's really important to choose a realtor that's going to work for you, one that's going to protect you, educate you along the process, because there's many first-time home buyers, if you're looking at a condo, or if you've purchased a condo before, that aren't really familiar with a status certificate and what's included and why that's important. So make sure that when you are purchasing one, that you include that so you don't end up like your client's experience. That would not be good. So if you could recommend to a buyer who is going to be buying a condo, but they do need to have a mortgage, what do you recommend for them?
Well, let's be proactive with the application. If there's a building that you're interested in and it is an older condo building, I can call CMHC, you can call CMHC, and we can ask an underwriter whether they would insure this property.
Right.
If they won't insure this property, well, then we know we need at least 20% down.
Yeah.
We can also ask the listing realtor to provide us with a status certificate up front so that we can look at it before we even make an offer.
Exactly.
If the status certificate isn't as great as we'd like to see it, and you really want that property, you can still proceed, but just be prepared to have some emergency savings in case there is a special assessment down the road, or if the condo fees do increase. We should budget for that.
Exactly. Thank you, Margot, for joining
You're
me
welcome.
today. We hope what you take away from this little discussion is that, one, if you're going to buy a condo, really make sure you do include that status certificate condition. Have your lawyer review it. Talk to your mortgage broker or lender to make sure everything is what it's supposed to be, so you have a smooth transaction and a great closing sale so you can enjoy your wonderful home. Well, thank you for tuning in, and if you have any questions on financing or real estate, Margot and I would be happy to answer them. Just send them our way, and perhaps we'll even talk about it on our next little segment of Ask the Pros.
Thanks, Tracy.
Well, remember to support your local community and love where you live. Thanks for watching.